This app will allow user input with one date picker and two steppers. Combined, they'll tell us when the user wants to wake up, roughly how much sleep they like to have, and how many cups of coffee a day they normally drink. So let's start off with three properties. We'll say @state private var wake up is date.now. And @state private var sleep amount is 8.0. Then @state private var coffee amount is 1. Now inside our body here, we're going to place three sets of components wrapped in a VStack and a navigation view. So let's start with WakeUpTime. We'll say there's a navigation view here with a VStack inside, then our text. When do you want to wake up? In a headline font. Let's use a date picker. We'll say, please enter a time using bound to the selection of $wakeup. And display components will be just hour and minute. There's no date here, just time. And we'll use labels hidden to remove please enter a time from the equation. So that's our first VStack. We've asked for hour and minute, again, because we don't care what date they wake up. It doesn't make sense. We just care what time, 8 a.m., 7 a.m., 6:30, whatever it is. And we don't want a second label. We already have a clear one, when do you want to wake up? Next, we're going to add a stepper. So users can choose roughly how much sleep they want. We'll do this in a range of 4 through 12, which I think covers everyone, and use a step of 0.25 so we can enter sensible values like 8.5 or 7 3/4. If we combine that with a formatted method, we can avoid 8.0000000. So we'll say there is some text, and we'll say desired amount of sleep, again in font headline. And below that, we'll add our stepper. We'll say there's a stepper here with a label of sleep amount dot formatted, and that'll be hours. The value for this will be sleep amount in the range 4 through 12 and step of 0.25, so a quarter of an hour each time. Finally, we'll add one last stepper here and a label to determine how much coffee they drink. This time we'll use a range of 1 through 20, which I think is surely everyone in the world. No one has more than 20. But we'll display one of two labels inside here, depending on the pluralization. So it's 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, and so forth. But 1 cup is the exception here. And so we'll say if they have a coffee amount of exactly 1, it's 1 cup. Otherwise, it's blah number plus cups. So we'll say there is another text view here with daily coffee intake in, again, font of headline and a stepper. If the coffee amount is equal to 1, then we'll say 1 cup. Otherwise, we'll say coffee amount cups. Value bound to coffee amount in the range 1 through 20. If the answer, of course, is 0, this is not the app for you. Just sleep as long as you want to sleep. You haven't had coffee. That's the point. The final thing we need is a button to let users calculate the correct time to go to sleep, or the best time to go to sleep. And we could do that with a simple button in our VStack. But to spice up this project a little bit, I want to try something new. We're going to add a button to the navigation bar in the top right corner. First things first, add a method we can call here. We'll say there's one called calculate bedtime. No code in there yet, that's fine, just a placeholder really. And now we want to apply the toolbar modifier to our VStack here to add a trailing button to the navigation view. Now previously with toolbar, we used toolbar item group to place toolbar buttons into the keyboard area. So when we select a certain field, we can hide it again with a done button. Here our needs are simpler. We just want one button in the navigation bar, and that can be done by adding a button straight to the toolbar. It'll do the right thing automatically. We can say, first things first, that's our title. The navigation title. There we go, of BetterRest. And then a toolbar, button, calculate, action, calculate, bedtime, like that. So our button will automatically be placed in the top right corner for left to right languages, like English. But it'll automatically be flipped in right to left languages, like Hebrew, for example. It'll be the other side of the screen. So just placing it straight into the toolbar is fine. Now that won't do anything yet because calculate bedtime is empty, but at least in theory, the whole rest of the program should function more or less correctly. It's a vaguely working, if somewhat ugly UI. We can say, I want to wake up at some time. Let's just tap on that and then enter in some value, 8 p.m. or 12:08, whatever. It's down to us. There we go, 8 a.m. A nice sleep-in, perhaps, for parents like me. I like to have lots of sleep. And sadly, I drink a ton of coffee. You can see cups. So it works really nicely. Plus, we can't go below 1 cup because it's for coffee drinkers. Everything works really nicely.